Welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter here. So glad you decided to tune in. Fans today, Mark Watkins is back by popular demand. Mark, we've got a lot to talk about. First of all, haven't really talked to you since about a month after the Dodgers won the World Series. So let's start this by you kind of giving us your impression of the offseason. I think I know where you're going to go with this, but kind of back us up there, then we'll get into the action yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's another incredible offseason for the Dodgers. I mean, who would have thought that they would sign the best reliever and the best outfielder, available on the free agent market? So I never thought they would sign Diaz or Tucker, really. So it's pretty amazing offseason for them, and they have a lot of guys coming back healthy, which is great. Seeing Gavin Stone, River Ryan coming back, and it's another. Gearing up for another exciting season here.
What of the prospects so far? We're going to get into the prospects, then we're going to get into the quad A guys, and then the major league guys. So let's start with the prospects. Which ones have impressed you the most?
Well, I would say probably the one that stands out the most is Josue DePaula. Offensively, at least. Defensively, he's looked a little shaky out there a couple times, but he looks like he has a really good approach at the plate. He's hitting the ball well. So he's really jumped out at me. A couple of other guys like Ronan Cop, you could tell he has really great stuff. So it's exciting to see him in there pitching for him too. And some of the other young pitchers like Carson Hobbs, I know pitched a good inning. Some other guys, that have came in. They've had so many young pitchers come in and pitch, and they're doing really well. Obviously, the Dodgers have been dominating so far in spring training, so not allowing very many runs either. It's early, of course, but it's good to see that.
Did you see your boy Cody Morse yesterday?
Unfortunately, I did not. No. Yeah, I didn't get to see that part of the game, but it's great to see that he got into a game. Yeah.
Yeah, just for those of you who don't know, of course, we're going to get into all the action yesterday, but Cody Morse is a big lefty that Mark actually had a chance to interview late last year at Rancho. He's a young man that came out of JUCO, Weatherford JUCO. Long lever, still trying to put all the mix together and all the execution together, so it was good to see Cody Morse. Okay, let's get into the good stuff. Let's start with Roki Sasaki. What did you think about Roki Sasaki personally? I thought he looked a little bit nervous and didn't quite look as sharp as we had hoped he'd look, but your thoughts on Roki Sasaki?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Rick Monday mentioned that he had his command early on and then he lost it, and that maybe it was nerves, I don't know, but his command just wasn't there, and that's not uncommon, I would say, for a lot of pitchers early in the spring, but I'm sure he'll pull it together and do much better in his later outing. So it was a little disappointing, I guess, but it's still very early.
So this pitch right here, that one right there, see that? That's that half cutter, half slider pitch. There's the splitter there. That half cutter, half slider pitch, though, that's the one that he added this year. So I think that left turn will help him because he's going to get a big right turn to the splitter. So if he can steal some strikes, the problem that he has is he's not throwing enough strikes. And so whenever he has problems, of course, he was fantastic at the end of last year, but we're talking about up until that point when he's had struggles. It's that they just spit on the splitter. He doesn't throw enough strikes with it. And then it's a pretty hittable fastball because although he throws it pretty hard, it's pretty straight. So if he can add a left turn with that little cutter/slider hybrid type pitch, I think that would be a game changer for that. See, there's a splitter there. They just spit on it. So you need to be able to steal strikes with that cutter/slider pitch that he's added this year.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It's adding that pitch to his arsenal is really going to, if he can command it well, it's really going to be a huge plus for him.
Okay, so River Ryan. What'd you think about River Ryan? It was super exciting to get him back in the fold. So River Ryan, I thought, I've got a million comments that people thought he looked like Tyler Glass now. I think it's the long hair, then the long socks and all of that. But River Ryan, I thought the 92-mile-an-hour slider you just saw right there, fastball was up to 98. He was electric. There's a 91-mile-an-hour slider under the hands of a lefty. There is the changeup up. He probably didn't like that up in the zone there. But the fastball 98, changeup 88 to 90, slider 91 to 92. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he pitched really well, obviously, before he got injured for the Dodgers. So he looked like he was definitely on the rise. He was going to be make a big impact for them before he got injured. So I was excited to see him get back. And, the Dodgers feel like they're going to have some tough decisions, when it comes down towards the end of spring training. It always kind of sorts itself out. But between guys like him and Gavin Stone and, Robleski and other guys, they have so many pitchers in camp. It's crazy. So much talent, on this pitching staff.
Yep. You pretty much have Blake Snell. We're going to see who takes the place of Blake Snell. I think Robleski definitely could do that. But you're going to have all these guys competing for maybe a spot start every now and then, and or maybe one or two relief spots on the 26-man roster. So when you look at River Ryan, Landon Knack, Bobby Miller, Kyle Hurt, all these guys that are just stacked on top of each other, Justin Robleski, right. Who's at the top of that totem pole for you right now?
Well, I think as far as say for a 6 starter or spot starter, I think it's probably going to come down to either River Ryan or Gavin Stone. But I mean, Robleski's in the mix too, so it's really too early to tell. But I guess based on the fact that Robleski pitched really well last year, he may have a leg up too. We'll see how that works out. But they may also want to use him in middle relief rather than starting him.
What'd you think about Gavin Stone? We're watching him right now.
Yeah, Gavin Stone, it's great to see him back, and he's another guy who was pitching extremely well before he got injured too. So it's crazy the Dodgers could fill out like a second pitching staff that would probably be major league quality on a lot of other teams. So they're in a great position, obviously. But yeah, it's awesome to see Gavin Stone back.
The battle that we've been talking about a lot, we've probably been wearing it out, but it's super fun to watch. Alex Freeland, I feel like Alex Freeland has looked fantastic so far this year. Hey, and the cream rises to the top. Healthy competition's a great thing. What a day that Ha-Seong Kim had yesterday. 2 stolen bases, a couple of hits, 2 great plays in center field. So if Ha-Seong Kim can play center field the way he did yesterday, he is going to get that spot because of the versatility aspect of it, in my opinion. So your thoughts on Ha-Seong Kim, Alex Freeland, and that battle for possibly the starting second base spot until Tommy Edman gets back?
Yeah, I agree with you. That versatility that Kim has, and obviously his speed and athleticism. If he can play center field well, he definitely has an advantage there. Obviously, he struck out too much last year, especially towards the second half or towards the end of his last couple of months when he was playing. But definitely, he needs to make more contact, obviously, he's just used that speed that he has, hit the ball, hopefully hit the ball down on the ground more and use that speed. But he, like as you mentioned, if he could play center field, he definitely has a big advantage there. Mm-hmm.
What do you think about his swing right now, his offensive game? Where do you see it right now? Is it where you want it, or you still want more out of him?
It's a weird thing with a lot of Asian players. Their swings are unorthodox. I mean, even Ichiro Suzuki back in the day. I mean, he was an amazing hitter, but his swing was just not what you normally see. So it looks like a lot of times like Kim is pulling off the ball, kind of stepping in the bucket, as they used to say. And so just based on that, he's looked really awkward. But I mean, even Ohtani looks awkward sometimes with some of the swings he takes. So it's a little harder, I think, to assess the Asian players because they do have that, unorthodox swinger, one that we're not used to seeing. So it'll be interesting to see how he progresses. I hope that, he obviously the contact thing is huge for him, making more contact.
It was really good to see. I've said this, and I know I've defended Dalton over the offseason, and it was confirmed on the broadcast yesterday. This is a guy that is probably better defensively than he is offensively, as good as potentially has on offense. This is a guy this is about a 1.8 from leather to leather, and that's on a bounce, and it's right on the money. This is a guy that threw out about 33% of all base stealers last year, which was about close to 15% above league average. So this is a plus arm with Dalton Rushing. We're starting to see him get comfortable with the pitchers, starting to call the types of games that he's used to calling. He is a leader in the meetings. So Dalton Rushing has not gotten the offense going yet, but we're starting to see him get comfortable on the defensive side. And I think that's if you can start playing defense and kind of hold your own there, I think that might relax him to hit the ball a little bit better moving forward. So it was good to see Dalton Rushing throw that runner out yesterday and kind of show off some of the things that he can do defensively.
Yeah, that's great to see. And, it's hard I feel like it's hard to get a good assessment of defensive abilities for young players when you're not able to see him in person too much. So when he was in the minor leagues, I always wondered, like, how good is he defensively? Is he major league quality defensive catcher? He's showing obviously that he is. I didn't know he had such a good arm. That's really, really nice to see because for a catcher, defense and handling pitchers is first and foremost. If he can add some offense, that's great. But if he can just do the little things and handle the pitchers well, the staff well, and I've heard some interviews with him, and he seems like he's a real student of the game. So that's going to benefit him a lot.
Good to see old Wardo right here get his first hit of spring training. I was really hoping, this would relax him and kind of just get him on the board, get him back on the beam, as you like to say, Mark, and get him relaxed where we can see the real version of Ryan Ward. But he had a couple of at-bats that weren't great after that too. But Ryan Ward, hopefully he can settle down. Your thoughts on him to this point?
Yeah, I feel kind of bad for him because he's still not really getting a lot of opportunity. I feel like some of the other guys have been getting more opportunities, but he's got definitely a super long shot to make the team. Unfortunately for him, but I'm hoping that he gets a shot at some point in the near future, either with the Dodgers or with another team.
Edwin Diaz started yesterday. Yeah, Ryan Ward did not look good at first base. He's not a first baseman. He is definitely a left fielder or an outfielder. So that whenever he doesn't look good at first base, it never bothers me because he's just not a first baseman. So, yeah, Ward didn't look good at first at all. No, he's definitely not a first baseman. And if you brought him up, it wouldn't be to play first base. It would definitely be to that fourth outfielder. So the first base thing doesn't worry me at all because I think almost all of the extra reps that at first base, like on the nights that Freddie Freeman doesn't play first base, I think it's almost guaranteed that Dalton Rushing would be the guy that does that. So the first base piece to Ryan Ward is irrelevant. I think they have him playing first base because they're trying to get Josue de Paula and Zire Hope and all these other outfielders as many at-bats as possible, and that's just kind of where Ryan Ward can slot in a lineup to get everybody's offense together. But I don't see him playing any first base at all at the major league level unless it's like the 14th inning and you've subbed and subbed and subbed, and he's like the next best guy you have available. Right. But I think first base would go probably Freddie Freeman, Dalton Rushing, then probably Kike Hernandez, and then Ryan Ward. So the first base thing doesn't bother me. He's got a lot better in the outfield, but it's like we say all the time. I mean, he's going to have to hit his way onto this team.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And even Will Smith can fill in over there, I think, but probably be more likely that Dalton Rushing would do that if Will Smith was catching. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be over there at first base much at all. So yeah, I don't put much stock in that as far as that happening. But they have a lot of options guys that can play first base. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, the trumpets didn't exactly sound yesterday. They didn't have Timmy Trumpets there, but Edwin Diaz made his Dodgers debut. We got to see the changeup, the slider, the good fastball that runs in on the hands of right-handers. It was super exciting to see Edwin Diaz, and I found it interesting, the story of how Timmy Trumpets came about in Seattle, I guess, was where it originated, where they kind of came up with about 2 or 3 different songs. They played those songs on his phone for him, and they had him choose. And whenever the song that he has now came up, then it was like, yeah, that's a slam dunk. So I thought that was a cool story. And you get some cool stories from Tim and Rick Monday. But it was super exciting to get Edwin Diaz finally in the fold for the Dodgers, get him on the field. What a wonderful young man he is. What a wonderful addition. Edwin Diaz for the Dodgers. And it's really cool. We talk about this all the time. You have the Cody Morses. Then you have like the Ryan Wards. The Cody Morses are just happy to be not in minor league camp, happy to be on the main field around to Dave Roberts and all these guys. Probably pretty nervous about it. Roque Gutierrez, Nicolas Cruz, guys like that were at the lower levels of the minor leagues that are just happy to be there. Then you have the guys like Alex Freeland, Hassan Kim, Ryan Ward, who are competing for spots. Then you have guys like Jackson Ferris and Adam Sirwanowski, who probably aren't competing for spots right now, but they're definitely trying to turn heads for maybe later in the year, certainly for next year. Then you have your quad A guys like Cole Irvin and guys like that are competing to be, kind of that depth in the system, that first wave of depth. And then you bring in the Edwin Diaz's and the Kyle Tuckers, and their whole goal is just to refine things. So the amount of layers going on in this spring training setting, especially the way the Dodgers did it just yesterday in one game alone, if you're really a baseball fan and you like minor league baseball, if you like following the entire system at all, which we do, it is super fascinating from start to finish of each game.
Yeah, it is absolutely. These guys get in there, the young guys, and some of the guys that you're talking about. I mean, the Dodgers, especially like if you look at every year, really it happens, but they use their full 40-man roster at some point. I mean, you had guys like surprisingly Will Klein and Justin Dean make big contributions last year. So you mentioned guys like Sawinski or Siani. I mean, those guys could end up getting in and getting some impactful or key at bats at some point, or playing defense, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, it's great to see the young guys. I mean, I love this part of spring training because I love to see these young guys come up and get a chance to pitch or hit, play defense on the major league level, even if it's just spring training.
The tank, Zire Hope, this dude is an absolute tank. He's having a really good spring training. And the thing about Zire Hope that not surprising to those that watch him quite a bit, but it's the carry. So like you watch the outfielder, watch this outfielder. He's just not anticipating this ball going as far as it did. He's like, wow, that ball just kept carrying. That's an identical hit to his first hit in Double-A. And I know Dennis and Bruce, the two announcers for Double-A Tulsa, they were like, well, there's a fly ball to left field. And they just completely assumed the left fielder was going to catch it just like this one. And they just kept carrying because he impacts the ball so much and he gets such great backspin. His ball just keeps going. There is no telling. Now, he didn't hit a whole lot of home runs last year, but there is absolutely no telling the kind of power that Zire Hope could eventually have. And as we saw on that hit there, his first hit in Double-A last summer, to the opposite field, to the pull side, he hits the ball, he impacts the ball to every field. So I don't know if there can't be a more exciting prospect in my mind than Zire Hope right now. This guy's exciting.
Yeah, and I should have mentioned him earlier too, when I mentioned Josue DePaula, but he really has kind of more of an all-around game, I think, than because he's better defensively than Josue DePaula. But he's a young guy, really exciting to watch the way he's developing. He's still really young. Both of those guys are, but his ability to hit the ball really hard. When he's had the chance to get in there, and he has a really good all around game because he has some good speed and he's good defensively. So definitely exciting to see what he can do. Absolute
elite human being with Zire Hope, no doubt about it. So Zire Hope, Josue DePaula, I think are showing very well for themselves. KY, Dodger fan, I was hoping for a little better from Roki. Hey, it's early. It's early is not even the right way to put it. It's the first outing of spring training. So obviously you don't want to make him out a molehill, but he showed struggles last year. He came back from them. Kind of does feel like there was maybe a patchwork Band-Aid put on it to put him in relief, maybe in the bullpen. So coming back to a starter's role, Roki Sasaki was good last year, but he was not good as a starter. So yes, it is spring training. Yes, it's way too early to make any kind of evaluations. But I do think there is at least a little bit that has to creep into your mind of, well, he didn't look good last year as a starter. He didn't look good yesterday as a starter. So what are we doing here? Is this guy a starter, or do we just need to say, hey, do we need to keep going on with this whenever you have all these great guys like River Ryan and Gavin Stone and Justin Robleski? Landon Knack looked good the other day. Kyle Hurt, Ben Kasparius, Ronan Cop, Adam Sirwanowski, Jackson Ferris. You have all this depth. So are we trying to put a square peg in a round hole just because his name is Roki Sasaki? Or, come on, guys, he was injured last year. It's way too early. Stop talking like that. I think that's kind of a neat both sides of your brain there, if you will. I think I have both sides of those running through my mind right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard not to have some concerns about him as far as his ability to be a starter. But he's still young. He's still adjusting to being here. There's nerves, like you mentioned earlier. He seems like a guy that kind of his mechanics can get off fairly easly. He can kind of get out of a groove, so to speak. So that's working against him, obviously. But there's still a lot of changes that are going on. Like you mentioned, him adding the extra pitch, and so it's still really early. So I'm not overly concerned, but you have to have a little bit of concern based on how he did last year. But worst case scenario, he'll probably he'll just be a really good reliever if it comes down to that, and eventually he could develop into a starter if that happens too.
Yeah, 100%. Jeez, Andy Pages looks freaking good, doesn't he? I mean, Andy Pages looks good, and it's not just he's gathering hits. He's tied, as we have a comment here, with Hassan Kim. Who else is it? Andy Pages, Hassan Kim, Josue De Paula, Teo Hernandez all lead the Dodgers with 5 hits apiece, which is awesome. Mark, it's not just the hits. It's the way he's getting them. I mean, he's spitting on the right pitches. He's hitting the breaking balls away. He's hitting the two-seamers that are starting middle, and tailing back in on his hands. That's always been a bugaboo. So the soft away, and not necessarily the hard in that he can cheat to, but it's the hard in that starts middle and slides in on his hands, those two-seam type moving pitches. Those have been kind of his two kryptonites over the years, and he's gotten to both of those pitches. So it's not just the 5 hits, not just the fact that he is tied with Teo Hernandez and Hassan Kim and Josue De Paula and all these guys for the most amount of hits. It's the way he looks. It's the eye test. It's the process of how he's getting these hits. I could not be more impressed with Andy Pages. I hope nothing changes, and he looks just like he looks right now all year long. Now, obviously, that's not going to happen. You have ups and downs, but at least we're starting with a big up and one that looks like it's not just a fluke. It looks like this is something that is here to stay for Andy Pages.
Yeah, I mean, he's another guy like Roki Sasaki that, you couldn't help but have some concerns about based on how he finished up last year. His defense seemed to improve as the year went along, but offensively, he obviously tailed off pretty badly at the end. So, I mean, for some young guys, they're not used to that long of a season. So maybe he was tired at the end. I don't know.
So
but
that breaking ball away, and he dumped it into right center. I love that.
Yeah, he's had a great approach this spring, and that's exciting to see. I mean, if he can, be better than he was last year, that could be huge for this team. I mean, it could be scary, but it's great to see him hitting the ball so well. Him and Teo too. Like Teo is off to a really good start too. So both of those guys, if they take a step up, that's going to be scary for other teams.
That is just a beautiful swing. He stayed inside that ball. He lagged the barrel. He was thinking other way with that pitch, and he executed. So it's one thing to have an approach to say, hey, if he throws me a slider on the outer half, I'm going to hit the ball to right center. It's easy to say, a lot harder to do. So it feels like also the game is slowing down for him, and I think that's an important point. Teo Hernandez lost all the weight, looks great. He's hitting the ball. He's hitting the ball to all fields. And, hey, best friends, mentor, pupil type thing. It does really feel like that Teo and Andy feed off each other, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely does. And I mean, Teo's been, as you said, a great mentor for Andy Pages, and they have a great relationship. And they do. It seems like they do feed off each other, and one of them's going well, the other one's going well, etc. But yeah, it's fantastic what Teo's done for Andy Pages.
This is a great point here from Dodger Dog 721. Love the fact that we're scoring without having to hit home runs. That dynamic aspect, and when I say dynamic, I mean be able to do more than one thing, right? Not just be static to where it's the same thing over and over and over. And if you don't do that one thing, then you fail. I think the dynamics of the young guys, the dynamics of Andy Pages, the dynamics of Teo Hernandez, Hesson Kim has provided a very dynamic aspect. So I mean, the Dodgers obviously haven't changed philosophy, but I think what you're seeing is the dynamic type players the Dodgers have started putting in their system. Zire Hope can hit tanks, no doubt. Josue DePaula can hit the ball very hard. Hesson Kim can hit home runs. There's no doubt. Andy Pages can hit home runs. But what you're seeing is these young guys, they're great baseball players. They're great offensive players. They're not just 3 true outcome home run type hitters. So it's fun to see for all the other Dodgers fans the amount of dynamic elements. We see it every day in the minor leagues. I mean, every single level in the minor leagues, except for I think it was Tulsa, led their league in stolen bases last year. You had Kendall George, who stole 100, Eduardo Quintero, Jaron Elkins, who we interviewed over they led their leagues in stolen bases. You had Esteury Ruiz, who's no longer with the club. But that just goes to show you, we besides said it all last year, Mark, this club has made a definite turn, or emphasis, I should say, of creating dynamic type athletes in their minor league system. And I think it's fun to watch all the people who don't watch the minor leagues get to see that in spring training and it actually start to happen for them. So that's a great point to make right there, that the Dodgers aren't scoring from hitting home runs, and you're getting to see that dynamic aspect of the minor leaguers.
Yeah, definitely. They've been infusing the minor leagues with a lot of fast, athletic guys, and I love that type of game. So it's exciting for me to see. I love I've always been a Dodger fan, but watching the old St. Louis Cardinals teams, with the speed and athleticism on those teams. But yeah, they have some young guys that are doing that, and also the Dodgers' approach overall. Some of these young guys, they just look beyond their years with their approach at the plate. And, as you said, you talked about Andy Pages, like spitting on pitches, but Josue DePaula really commends the strike zone really well. Zire Hope's been doing a good job of that, but they're overall, they've had so many walks.
They have.
they just wear out. I mean, not so much in spring training wearing out pitchers because they have a new pitcher every inning this early, but during the season, just taking that many pitches, it tends to wear out the other pitcher pretty quickly. And the Dodgers have really instilled that into their minor league system too. So their young guys are doing the same thing, and the veterans do it now, but the young guys that are coming up are doing that too.
If I had to ask you tomorrow, who's the second baseman? Who's the everyday second baseman? Who would be your choice?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I go back and forth. Yesterday I say Alex Freeland, but after the day Hesson Kim had yesterday, I think I would have to say Hesson Kim would be the one that would get the roster spot because he showed he can play center field. And now that he's on the roster, now he can still play second base too. So I'm going to flip-flop all spring training, which makes it very fun. Where are you at?
I'm kind of right where you are too. And you mentioned earlier, Freeland is really impressed. He looks really good at the plate, and I know he can play defense well too. So I think overall, he may be a little more advanced as a hitter than Hesson Kim. But Kim does have the advantage of, his speed and his ability to play center field. So, it's really tough to say at this point. But, I think Kim probably has a slight advantage at this point. If he can keep playing, obviously, anywhere near the way he played like yesterday, then he'll probably win the job. Yep,
100%. That's going to be a fun competition. And we
Absolutely.
talk about all the time. The Dodgers do a wonderful job of this. I talk about this with my Oklahoma State Cowboys and Josh Holliday too. When you can create healthy competition within your system, you're going to find out who the competitors are. Because if there is fierce competition just to get in the lineup on your own team, then by the time you actually get into a game, you're going to be able to handle the pressures of a game. So I love the healthy competition. A couple of years ago, it was all the starting pitching. We're still seeing it. Landon Knack, Bobby Miller, Ben Kasparius, Justin Wrobleski, Jack Dreyer, all these guys. It was like, well, all these guys were competing against each other. Yes, they're like brothers, but that's a very healthy competition, and it forces the cream to rise to the top, And those who aren't quite as confident in themselves, they don't make it. So
Right.
the healthy competition aspect of the way the Dodgers just stack talent, and then not just stack talent, they stack different levels of talent. Again, they stack the quad A Cole Irvins. They stack the guys that are really close, like the Ryan Wards, the Alex Freelands. They stack the guys that are probably a year away, like the Adam Sironowski, Jackson Ferris, Zire Hope, Josue de Paula. Then they stack the younger guys like the Cody Morses and the Payton Martins that we saw yesterday. So they stack them all together. They let each other compete with each other. And I just think it makes for a really fascinating, healthy competition that makes everybody better.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember old saying, they talked about, I think it was Branch Rickey way back when, but the Dodgers, back in those days, they would say, when you come up, when you're trying to make the major leagues out of the minor leagues, you can't just knock on the door with the Dodgers. You gotta knock the door down. You got to really impress to get on the team. And not too many guys have been able to do that. Obviously, Pages is one of the guys who has recently, but they have so many established, star veterans and everything. There just aren't a lot of spots, even on the bench. You got guys that are like Miguel Rojas, would probably be starting on most teams.
How good is he as just a bench player? How good is he as a bench player? Come on.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty amazing. He's just the way he's found to contribute, and obviously what he did last year was just phenomenal, like defensively and offensively. It's having guys like that on the bench. That's huge.
Kike.
Yeah, Kike's another
very
guy.
Very low key. Miguel Rojas has made multiple of the biggest plays in the history of the Dodgers organization. I know that sounds stupid. With all the World Series appearances, Kirk Gibson, all the Hall of Famers, all the incredible players, and Miguel Rojas is not one of those guys. He's not one of those Hall of Famers. He's been really great for this generation of the Dodgers for the role that he's been given. But going back to the play he made for Clayton Kershaw's no-hitter when he was with the Dodgers the first time, to the play he made at second base in the World Series last year, to the home run, to even a lot of the other plays he's made his second time back with the Dodgers. Yeah. It's amazing. Whenever you go win a championship, even if you're the best team, there always has to be an unsung hero that does something that you weren't expecting for them to do, He's been that guy for the Dodgers. So isn't it amazing that, no, he's not a Hall of Famer, but honestly, I'm not exaggerating when I say that Miguel Rojas has, at least 3 of the biggest plays in the history of the Dodgers organization. I know that sounds hyperbolic and all that sounds very exaggerated, but it's really not, Mark, is it?
No, absolutely not. The home run that he hit last year was gigantic, obviously. And, some of the other defensive plays he made where he threw the guy out of the plate by an inch, and then, as you mentioned, with preserving Kershaw's no-hitter, that was he's made some phenomenal plays for them. And, I keep thinking about that play to end Game 6 when Kike Hernandez made a really intuitive play and just snuck up on the hitter and came running in, grabbed that ball and fired it to Miguel Rojas. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't an easy catch from Miguel Rojas to short hop it on second base. And he kind of backed up, and I saw a clip of that again the other day. And that play just impressed me so much on both ends, with Kike and Miguel Rojas.
Mm-hmm. What are you expecting from Tyler Glass now? Do you care? I'm way more excited to see the Payton Martins. And then also I'm excited to see the battles, the races, like the Cole Irvins and guys like that. Is it going to be them or is it going to be Ronan Cop? I'm excited to see those guys way more than I am the veteran guys. I'll get to see 6 months of Shohei Ohtani and Tyler Glass now and Freddie Freeman. I don't need to see them right now. I want to see all the competitions, but that's just me. That's my brain. I'm sure I'm way in the minority of that. So to be honest with you, I never get totally fired up to see like I was super fired up to see Sasaki because I don't know exactly what his role is going to be. So you're kind of evaluating and you're wanting to see how he looks, and then you're massively fired up to see River Ryan because he's back and you don't know what his role is going to be. So not to be like Mr. Get off my lawn boring guy, but I'm not super fired up to see Tyler Glass now. I'm getting to see 8 months of this guy moving forward, right? Yeah. But what do you expect from him today?
Well, I mean, I think he'll, come in and pitch well, obviously. But as you mentioned, I don't get as excited about seeing the veterans play. I get super excited about seeing the young guys come up and get a chance to perform on this level, and see them come in. Like you mentioned, Cody Morse, he's a great kid who I interviewed last year, so it's exciting. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see him, but it's nice to see that he was able to come in and get an inning in. But yeah, I love to see these young guys, Zire Hope, Josue DePaula, all of these guys, and the young pitchers too, like Ronan Cop and those guys. That's what I love about spring training.
Yeah,
actually.
You got Morse. You got to see Morse. I've got Morse live video of him.
Well, yeah, I did see that. Thankfully,
this is your video right here, isn't it? You took that, didn't you, Mark? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I'm talking about live in spring training. I didn't get to see the game.
Yesterday. Oh, I thought you meant last year. Okay, my bad.
Oh, yeah. I definitely saw him last year.
I'll let me shut up. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I got to see him several times last year, and hopefully I'll get to see. Well, I don't know if he'll be, with the Tower Buzzers this year, or if he get promoted to High A. I'm guessing he'll probably jump up a level, but I'm not entirely sure about that yet. So, what
do you expect from Tyler Glass now? Well, what would move a needle for you either way? What would get you off of boring for Tyler Glass now? The thoughts on Glass now today?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, I don't know what else he can really do unless he comes up with a new pitch or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's refined any of his pitches like that. That could be interesting. If one of his pitches, if he's added a new twist in some way, a new pitch or something like that. But it's hard to say on that.
Beyond that, it's just, I think what I'm watching to see is stay healthy, dude. Every time you go to the mound, stay healthy, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
yes,
so
sure.
Any other final thoughts on any of the quad A guys? Have you seen Cole Irvin's pitch yet?
I did not. No, I haven't seen him yet.
He looked good to me. I think he's going to have a chance.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
good.
I think he's going to have a chance to. Now, he'll be a guy that'll go up for a while and get DFA. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you never know. I mean, he could turn into Brent Honeywell or Will Klein. I mean, that could happen, but Will Klein's another one. Yeah. Hey, Will Klein, by the way, let's get into Will Klein because what a cool story for him. And we're going to get into the rest of this action from yesterday right now and a lot of the young guys. So this is going to kind of start our Down the Farm segment here. But let me go ahead and throw some Will Klein video up there on the board just so I don't get tagged with the copyright here. We've seen plenty of the spring training action yesterday, and there really wasn't a whole lot different of Will Klein yesterday. So this is a guy in Will Klein that's always had crazy good stuff. We know that, okay? His fastball is crazy. His slider's really good. Good secondaries. Has never really mastered the strike zone well enough. He's never really put it together long enough to be consistent enough to be a major leaguer. So he did that last year. He had the historic outing in the World Series. And so here's a couple of things about Will Klein. These stories are amazing. He grew up in Bloomington, Indiana. Okay? Bloomington, Indiana, the hometown of the University of Indiana, who's not a great baseball program. I mean, they made the College World Series when they had Kyle Schwarber, but that was more of a, hey, we had a once-in-a-lifetime generation type pitcher on our roster, and Kyle Schwarber, and this guy led us to the College World Series. So Indiana, not a great baseball program by any stretch of the imagination. Mark, they didn't even call Will Klein. They didn't contact him. They certainly didn't offer him. The only offer that Will Klein had coming out of Bloomington, Indiana, was Eastern Illinois. And trust me, I don't mean to have any kind of disrespect for Eastern Illinois. But they're not LSU. They're not even Oklahoma State in the baseball world. So he went from going to Eastern Illinois to being a World Series hero last year. And so the trick now, kind of like the Justin Robleski narrative is, I know many people in the organization think that experience in games 6 and 7 for Robleski, now they can trust him on the biggest moments. They think that's going to elevate him to the next level. The trick for Will Klein is you've made it this far. You've made it from a kid growing up in Bloomington, Indiana that had no other offers other than Eastern Illinois to being a World Series hero. Don't be just good enough with that. Don't be satisfied with that. Now, can he get greedy and not be satisfied with that and want more, which would be a consistent major league career? I think that's the aspect of Will Klein. I am very curious and excited to follow with him this year because we know the stuff's there. He now has the experience. We'll see if he then now can parlay all of that into being consistent, which would allow him to have a long and prosperous major league career, to be honest with you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, who would have thought he would be making that contribution last year in the World Series? That was phenomenal, you know. But I think that may give him some confidence, you know, and propel him on to greater things this year. Hopefully it will. I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, you know, figuring out what this pitching staff is going to end up being. You know, there's so many guys that are so talented that it's going to be really tough for him to even get a spot. But you know, we talked earlier about guys like Kasparius and Sheehan and Wrobleski and all these guys, and then Stone and River Ryan coming back, Sasaki possibly being in the bullpen. So. Yeah, it's going to be a dogfight to get a roster spot, basically.
I'll tell you, Ronan Cop's been very impressive. I know he walked the first guy he saw yesterday, but then he got the double play, and then he got the double play, and then the third out on 2 pitches after that. Ronan Cop, I think, has looked really good. I think he's turned some Dodgers fans' heads, and you know, Dodgers fans are like, "Who's this guy?" Of course, he was put on the 40-man this past offseason to protect him from the Rule 5 draft. The thing about Ronan Cop, a couple things about him. And we did see that yesterday. He's walked too many guys. The execution hasn't been perfect in the past. And then as you watch this, see these long levers, long time to the plate. About, you know, I've timed him 1.6, 1.7, which is really slow to the plate, which means if you're walking guys, then they're basically going to walk to second and third base, stealing bases off of you. You don't have hardly any margin for error at that point. So a couple things about Ronan Cop. He improved his execution last year, okay? Then he also incorporated a slide step to where he just kind of delivered the ball to home plate from the position he was in out of the stretch. So those 2 elements I think are exciting for him. I do think matter of fact, I would be surprised. I'll put it to you that way. Probably very surprised if Ronan Cop does not make his major league debut this year. So super excited about Ronan Cop, no doubt about that.
Yes, he obviously has great stuff, and I know last year he averaged like well over a strikeout an inning. So, and he's a big guy, you know, 6'7", 250. So he gets, you know, those guys, the ball from a hitter standpoint, the ball's on top of you before you know it. So, yeah, he's definitely an exciting prospect, and I would be surprised if he doesn't get some time in the major leagues at some point this year. Obviously, they tend to use so many pitchers during the course of a year. So I think he'll get some time up in the majors.
All right, let's get into some guys that you might be familiar with, you might not be, but that's okay. I can fill you in on all the details that are going on here. This is Payton Martin from yesterday. Hey, set your feet. Throw the dang ball to first base like you're supposed to, Payton. He's too cocky, man. He just thinks he can do everything, you know, perfectly. And the thing about that's hilarious, that nice slider right there, is that he was a shortstop growing up, and he was recruited to go to ECU, and he probably was going to be the starting shortstop at East Carolina as a true freshman. So this guy was a very talented shortstop, wasn't quite sure whether he was going to pitch or play shortstop, decided to be a pitcher only. So he's really just kind of just getting started on the pitching part of it. He had helium a couple of years ago. I'm going to be quite frank with you, Mark. He's had a couple of years here that haven't been perfect, okay? Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, they've been struggles. He's had some personal issues. Last year he had some injuries. As a matter of fact, about halfway through, he ripped an entire fingernail off of his finger and kept pitching. But, I mean, imagine ripping at it was the pointer finger. So, I mean, it was like the worst finger you could have. Oh, so wow. Payton Martin is a guy that's had some ups and downs. I point blank asked him, hey, we haven't got where we want to be yet. Would you do anything differently between now and then? He said, absolutely not. The struggles I've had have been something that have made me a better human being. They've made me a better player. And Payton Martin's back up to 96, 97 with the good slider and the good high-riding fastball. And it was super fun to see Payton Martin on the main field yesterday. I do wish he would have tried to be a little bit less of a shortstop. Although, Wardo, you got to catch that ball, Ryan. Come on, man. If you're going to be a major league first baseman, we got to catch that ball, Wardo. Although Payton Martin, let's be less of a shortstop and more of a pitcher there. So I was excited to see Payton Martin yesterday.
Yeah, I remember there was some buzz about him, a couple of years ago that he was looking pretty good. And then, as you said, he went through some struggles with injuries and such. So, but he has, a lot of guys who are athletic like him, they have a kind of an advantage in that way. It seems like a lot of pitchers are more athletic than people give them credit for. Like Clayton Kershaw comes to mind, But yeah. But he's an interesting guy to see what he can do this year.
He absolutely is. And then, that slider, he added a kind of a splitter type changeup too. It's the slider fastball that gets him by. But if he can add that splitter and control it at all, Payton Martin, I'm looking at video you guys aren't right now. I have to be careful with how much I play. But I think he's probably going to start in High A Great Lakes. I think I might get to see Payton Martin by the end of the year in Double-A Tulsa. And a guy who spent all last year at Double-A Tulsa. I love this guy. Chris Campos, I love this guy. This is Gavin Stone all over again. Campos and his dad, Robert, they built a mound in their backyard 2 off seasons ago, and he and his dad together modified that slider right there to make it have different shapes. He has the high riding four seam, and that slider there. See how those sliders, you've seen 2 different sliders, both with different shapes. There's another shape. So he can tighten it up. He can modify it. He can really adjust the shape of his slider based on the count. And let me back that up. Here's that splitter pitch that I was talking about. I want you to see this next pitch coming up for Chris Campos, even if we get knocked off. This is the splitter that he's added that I'm super excited. See that pitch? Wow. You've seen the 3 different sliders. You've seen the tighter sliders. There's another changeup at the bottom of the zone. There's another splitter. You saw the tighter slider to the glove side corner. You saw the more depthy slider to steal strikes with, and you saw the bigger slider to get swing and miss with. That's all intentional from Chris Campos. He manipulates his slider that way. You saw a splitter to the bottom of the zone, and you saw his high riding four seam. Super chill guy off the field. Absolute dog when he gets in between the lines. I'm telling you, Chris Campos is going to be a major leaguer. I can't guarantee you it's going to be in a Dodgers uniform. It would be really cool because he's from Southern California. Matter of fact, he went to Mater Dei, transferred out of Mater Dei. I can't remember the high school he finished at. So he's a Southern California boy. I'm telling you, Chris Campos is going to be a major leaguer. He was a shortstop in St. Mary's at college. Matter of fact, Payton Martin and Chris Campos, they gig each other. Who's the better shortstop? And they actually take ground balls with each other, which is kind of a cool thing to watch. And they compete with each other. And while they do, Jared Karros is the commentator, and he's commentating the competition between Chris Campos and Payton Martin. But I'm telling you, Chris Campos is a guy you better put on your radar. Don't believe me? Go back to my conversation with Rick Honeycutt. Listen to what Rick Honeycutt had to say about Chris Campos. Listen to the professionals. They will tell you.
Yeah. I'm sorry, were you going to play that interview, a piece of that interview? Or?
No, I was not. I'm sorry, Mark. Yeah, I didn't set you up well there.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, that's he's another guy that is, I'm sure he's on the Dodgers' radar. I was looking at his stats last year at Tulsa, and his ERA was a little over 4, but not too bad,
he had some ups and downs. He had about 4 or 5 really bad outings that skewed a lot of things.
Okay.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't perfect.
Yeah, he had a really good strikeout to walk ratio, 111 strikeouts to 32 walks. So, he's definitely, I'm sure. And you said, as you mentioned, he has some great stuff. So, you've talked to him personally, but having that kind of bulldog mentality, and that between the lines, that's huge too.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love Chris Campos. It was super fun to get. And I thought it was cool to see Campos and Payton Martin back-to-back, because they weren't back-to-back, but on the same field on the same day, because they're both shortstops, both very athletic, and both not big guys, kind of the Gavin Stone type plot, but both unbelievably competitive and very good. And both of them, I think Payton Martin, he's got to continue to get better, no doubt about it. He's got to continue to refine all of his stuff. I think both of them will be in the major league someday. Again, can't guarantee that will be with the Dodgers, but I think definitely Chris Campos. This is Wyatt Crowell. You got to see him yesterday. This is a lefty out of Florida State, back foot slider. It's ridiculous. He has probably the best left-handed slider. See how he manipulates it? There's the backdoor slider, a little bit smaller. Then he can ride the fastball. Crazy ride on his fastball, though the velo is not unbelievable. But it's that back foot slider to right-handers that is. He tried to backdoor that one, got away from there. But the backdoor that one there, that's not quite back foot, but you kind of get the idea of the shape there. From Wyatt Crowell, he was injured at Florida State. He was actually on the same team as Cam Leiter and James Tibbs III. Imagine how good that was there at Florida State. This is a guy, though, I'm telling you, again, don't believe me. Just go back to my conversations with Sean Coyne and all the guys that are in the system that work with him that talk about Wyatt Crowell. Again, I'm going to say this point blank. Luke Fox, Wyatt Crowell, Chris Campos, these are guys injury withstanding, of which Luke Fox and Wyatt Crowell have already had their Tommy Johns. As long as they can stay healthy, Luke Fox, Wyatt Crowell, and Chris Campos, and we saw Campos and Crowell yesterday, they are going to be major leaguers. So I was excited to see Crowell on the main field. I know he was excited about it. I've communicated a little bit, not communicated, but just, well, I'll leave it there. So he's super excited about that. Love the slider, love the ride on the fastball. Exciting to see these young guys. What do you think about what you've seen here from Crowell?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he looks like he has really great stuff. And I was just looking up his stats. He had 93 strikeouts last year in 78 innings. So also well over strikeout per inning. Looks like he had a little bit too many walks, 57 walks.
Yes.
So his whip was 1.32. But obviously he has great stuff, and he's moved quickly. He's moved quickly in the Dodgers system because he only started pitching with the Dodgers in 2024, and so he started out with. Looks like he's pitched for Rancho and then Great Lakes, and then he's already up in Tulsa. He's already made an appearance in Tulsa, so he's moving quickly through the system. So obviously the Dodgers are pretty high on him. Yeah,
this is a guy that is really good. I mean, this is Garrett McDaniels. He was lights out for the Dodgers to end 2024. Made it up to Double-A Tulsa. His best outing of all time was at Wichita. I was there. That was his last outing of 2024. And then surprisingly, in between the 2024, there's Chucky Robinson, by the way. In between the 2024 and 2025 season, he got taken by the Angels in the Rule 5. So he actually made his major league debut last year with the Angels. Look at that breaking ball. And just nasty stuff. And then got returned to the Dodgers about midway through last year. They went back to some of his former mechanics. There's that two-seam. So you've seen the two-seam, the slider. And he did really well. Now, he had a couple of bad outings that kind of skewed his ERA. But keep in mind that the bad outings he actually had COVID. So the outings that the ERA didn't look good, or he gave up some runs, there was a reason for that. He was sick. So the question is here, what path do we see forward for Garrett McDaniels? And to be honest with you, there's not one right now. So he's not on the 40-man because he was DFA'd. What Garrett McDaniels has to do, okay, he's got to continue to post like he has his entire career with the Dodgers. I promise you, though, he's not on the 40-man, and although right now there's no path forward for him, if Garrett McDaniels continues to throw that two-seam there, the slider that we saw, and continues to pitch the way that he always has as a Dodger in the Dodgers organization, he will have a chance to make an impact this year at the major league level. Don't ask me how. It always happens, but it will happen with Garrett McDaniels. And I can tell you that's not my opinion. I think that's pretty slam dunk. So although there is no path for him, trust me, there is. It's up to him. If he pitches the way he's capable of, the way he always has in the Dodgers organization, he will have a chance at the major league level this year.
Yeah, he looks like he has some good size to him and really good mechanics. So
yeah, long and lanky.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, the Dodgers have so many impressive young lefties. It's going to be he's another guy. It's going to be exciting to see what he can do this year. And as you mentioned, they go through so many pitchers throughout the year that I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him come up and get some major league time too.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, man. Hey, I'll tell you another thing. Let me back this up. This is you guys will get bored with this. I don't care. And this is going to be personal for me. Actually, I don't actually have video on him, but we got to see Gerardo Carrillo yesterday. He was pitching for the Angels. And Gerardo Carrillo, if you remember, he was one of the fairly large pieces Keibert Ruiz, Donovan Casey, Gerardo Carrillo, and JoJo were the trade that the Dodgers sent to the Nats to get Trey Turner and Max Scherzer. Remember that trade?
Yeah, I absolutely
Gerardo
do, yeah.
Carrillo was actually one of the big pieces of that. He was the opening day starter in, 2022 for the AA Tulsa Drillers. So that goes to show you how well thought of he was. So it was cool to see Gerardo Carrillo. I know he's kind of bounced around. I think he played the Mexican League, that kind of thing. But it was good to see him back in affiliated ball. So another thing about baseball that's cool, especially if you follow the minor leagues, like Nick Robertson's back. It's really cool. You follow these guys because what the Dodgers like to do, they like to go back and get them again. They go to another organization, they fail, and like Garrett McDaniels is a perfect example. Right. But then the Dodgers go back and get them again, fix their mechanics, get them back to the way they were when they were with the Dodgers. So I thought it was cool to see Gerardo Carrillo. It's cool to see all these former guys. We definitely root for them, not when they're playing the Dodgers, but I wanted to get that in there.
Yeah, and that you made me think of another guy. I mean, it's cool to see him back, but Carlos Duran, I saw him get into a game too. It's a big guy, 6'7". But I mean, he's another guy that I could possibly see the Dodgers, getting some time with the Dodgers this year. So he pitched for the A's. Yeah. He got a little time in with the A's last year. So
here is Carlos Duran, and he was traded for Esteury Ruiz. And at one time, at the beginning of this year, before the Dodgers, I think DFA'd Esteury, they had both Carlos and Esteury on the roster. And then also, what trade? The Michael Busch trade. Okay, so think about the Michael Busch trade, Mark. You trade Michael Busch, who had no position whatsoever, right, in the Dodgers organization, and Yency Almonte. And Yency Almonte was a big part of that trade. So you had Yency Almonte, Michael Busch, Zire Hope, Jackson Ferris. You had four guys in that trade.
Wow.
You know how many of those guys are in the Dodgers system right now? 3 of them. The Dodgers have Yency Almonte back. So the Dodgers basically traded Michael Busch for Josue de Paula and Zire Hope. I mean, it was another master class of that's one of the examples, probably biggest examples of a win-win. But it definitely is an example how this Dodgers organization plays 4D chess, because everybody knew that Michael Busch was blocked, and to get Zire Hope and Jackson Ferris for Michael Busch, then also to get Yency Almonte back and have them all in your system now, that's an incredible return for Michael Busch, who is a great player, by the way, but was not going to be in the Dodgers organization. It was the Ryan Ward thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the talent that they got from Michael Busch when they getting Zire Hope and Jackson Ferris. Like, I mean, that's a big haul. I feel like, because I think both of those guys are probably future major leaguers. So I'm really excited to see what those guys can do. I was going to ask you, Mike Soroka, is he in camp? Do you know? I haven't seen or heard anything about him.
He is not a non-roster invitee, so he has not been over yet. I'm sure he's on the backfield doing his thing, just hasn't been over to camp yet. They've had, well, let's move it over here. So this is Chris Newell. They've had James Tibbs III, Zire Hope, Josue de Paula, Zach Earhard. They've had all these guys, plus all the Quad A guys they brought in. So here's the deal, the World Baseball Classic, all these guys are getting ready to leave here in, a week or so. There will be plenty of opportunities for the Mike Sorotas. So he's there. It's just a backfield type situation. And we have a question about Chris Newell. He's getting some run. Chris Newell is kind of a Cody Bellinger clone, if you will. There's a few differences in their swings. But the thing Cody Bellinger's done as he's gone on is he's eliminated the swing and miss. Chris Newell, that's the thing about him, is that he has all 5 tools, all 5 of them. He's the all-time stolen base leader in the history of Virginia University as far as postseason play goes. So he can really run. He has an incredible arm. As a matter of fact, he was a pitcher growing up until he had Tommy John when he was 16. He can absolutely hit the ball to the moon. The only thing holding Chris Newell back is bat to ball and just consistently making contact. So the thing about Chris Newell, too, though, he was one of the best offensive players in all the minor leagues for about the last, I'd say, 40 games of last year. So it felt like he was turning a corner. Don't sleep on this guy, because this guy has massive talent, but it's still in the talent and tools category for Chris Newell. And the Dodgers are intrigued by that, so they're going to give this guy plenty of looks. Chris Newell, he's one to watch because he has all the tools. We'll see if he can put them together.
Yeah, definitely. And he's still relatively young, 24 years old. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see what he can do this year, too.
That is that home run's just massive. Here's another home run right here. Here just kind of go to show you the power he has. I mean, good buggy whip there. I mean, that's a low line drive it's not very deep to right field, no doubt. But Chris Newell is a very interesting prospect to watch moving forward to see if he can put things together. So, hey, Mark, we are just about out of time here. Final thoughts here on Dodgers Dawgs. It's part of the Dodgers Daily Network. It's great to have you back in the mix. What do you want to say before we get out of here?
Thanks. I appreciate that. And great to be back. And it's just, as I keep saying, it's a great time to be a Dodger fan. They have so much talent in this organization, from top to bottom, and they just keep adding more. And it's for me, as I mentioned, it's really exciting to see these young guys get the chance in spring training and see what some of the other guys, the older guys, have added to their arsenal, to their mix. So it's a fun time to be watching them.
All right, Mark, appreciate it. Want to thank you, all of you wonderful Dodgers dogs out there. You are the absolute best. As I always say, it's not the biggest community, but it is easily the best community on earth. Thank you so much for all your wonderful support, you wonderful Dodgers dogs out there. And as always, never forget, it's a great day to be a Dodger.